Welcome to Season 8 of Radio Free 501c, brought to you by Rogue Tulips Consulting. Don't forget to subscribe or follow us. We're in Season 8 and we still have a lot to talk about. Radio Free 501c is supported by USAE News, the weekly community newspaper of Association CVBs and hotels. Learn more at usaenews.com. Hey, this week we're wrapping up Ethics Awareness Month with a first-time guest, Carol Weldon. She's an IT professional in the healthcare industry, and we're going to talk about the ethics of technology implementation. It's Monday, March 30th, 2026. Welcome to episode 322. Hey, everybody. It's March 30th already. Can you believe it? Everyone is commenting about how fast the first quarter is flying by this year. But we still have an opportunity to bring awareness to ethics, as March is Ethics Awareness Month. So this will be our last episode in Ethics Awareness Month. But please remember, ethics is all year long. It's not just March Madness. So, hey, everyone, thanks for joining us. I'm Cecilia Sepp. I'm the host of Radio Free 501c, brought to you by my company, Rogue Tulips Consulting, and our partner in supporting our podcast this year, USAE News. Learn more about USAE News at usaenews.com, very conveniently named. They are the paper of record for the association management industry and CVBs all around the world. So check out USAE. And we also want to thank them for giving all of our guests a complimentary subscription to their publication. So thank you again, USAE. As we wrap up Ethics Awareness Month, I want to remind you to please subscribe or follow us on your favorite service. We're on all of them. You can find us anywhere. You can watch or listen at your convenience. And make sure you take a moment and do that, because you don't want to miss all of these episodes. We do a lot of themes. We do a lot of great conversations. And this is one I've really been looking forward to. I have a first-time guest, Carol Weldon, who is an IT implementation expert. And she's here to talk with us about the ethics of technology implementation. So before we dive into the conversation, Carol, welcome to the show. I always love having a first-time guest. And this is also your very first podcast appearance, right?
Yes, it is. And thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And would you like to say hello to the audience and tell us a little about yourself?
Sure. Hi, audience. I'm Carol, from the Midwest. Um, and Cecilia and I have known each other for quite a long time. We met as kids and we've been friends ever since.
Mhm.
So I truly appreciate Cecilia. Um, In my personal life, I am the aunt to two wonderful boys. And out of that, my youngest nephew has had a baby girl and they're expecting again. So,
Oh,
yeah.
wow. Breaking news on Radio Free 501c. I didn't know
Yeah.
they were having another baby. That's great. Congratulations.
Yeah. So, I'm pretty much involved with them, and then I just like to do crafts and stuff.
Great. And of course, IT. You love
Oh,
IT.
absolutely. Um, Not quite sure how I stumbled into IT, but I did. And it is a lot to take care of and to watch out for, basically. Um, But the heart of it is always to keep the patient's information safe, and that's what we do at almost every, uh, turn when we're trying to implement something and, trying to go live with something. So,
Yeah, that
take
and that
care.
is
I'm sorry,
uh,
go ahead.
no, I was just going to say, I was going to jump in with a question or a comment. I was going to say that, and that is something that takes a lot of time and attention and thoughtfulness, is maintaining data at every level, maintaining the privacy of the patient, and then maintaining the integrity of the data. So, what are some of the things, Carol, that you think people should be aware of when they're managing data that relates to other people?
You need to be really careful as to who might see the information, and that goes from information that's displayed on your desktop in a open area of a possibly of a facility or a physician's office. Um, you don't want people walking in and going, "Oh, I know that person," and then, just kind of taking it all in. Because and that's what we try to do. Um, is it 100% full uh, watch of the information? Yeah, almost.
Mhm,
We're just very conscientious no matter what we do.
mhm.
That the patient's information, demographics, anything and everything that pertains to the patient, is only available to the people who really need to provide the services for the patient.
So, it sounds like you have a lot of firewalls to protect the data.
Yes, we do. Uh, and we're constantly reminded, if, uh, especially if we're having to go outside, the structure, um, you know, it could hit the firewall if they reply back to us from an outside source. Um, and it's like, well, okay. And we don't send ordinary IT people don't send IT patient information out via email or fax or anything like that. Um, that would be more like possibly billing, the billing areas, the um, HIM areas that would send out information like that. But from an IT perspective, we never would. From time to time, I do get issues. That's part of my job is that I take issues that end users are having, and sometimes it involves me having to get into the patient's chart. So, I take that very personal because if that was my chart, I wouldn't want somebody really strange looking at it. But I get in, I get what I need, and I get out. I don't take any notes. I don't, the patient's information is the patient's information, and that's the only person who should have it, basically.
Wow. So I love that. So you have personal integrity about how you handle the data. So do you think that that attitude, that ethical approach to managing the patient's privacy, do you think that is something that's part of your culture?
Yes, I believe so. The facility that I work for, and almost any facility, has yearly training. And it pertains to HIPAA, HIPAA,
Mhm.
Health Insurance and Portability Act. Um, and it is required for us to take every year. But um, I think more people, once they learn about it, you're aware of it, and so it becomes part of your job, part of your um, existence, really, when you work in the medical field.
So do you have a code of conduct or code of ethics that your department follows?
Um, Definitely the overall facility does. Um,
Mhm.
yes, we do have some guidelines within our department that we uh abide by. Um, so we all take them very seriously, and actually we're rated on them as well when it comes time for our evaluations. That that we're respectful, that we, respect the information, that we do what we can. So yes, it is a whole foundation basically from top to bottom.
I'm so glad you said that. that the code of conduct is part of your performance appraisal, because that is really what gets people to absorb them into their daily thinking and to
Absolutely.
keep them top of mind and make sure that they are being ethical, that they are following those codes. So, what kind of training do you get, if any, on the code of conduct?
Um, well, actually, on April the 1st, we've just been assigned e-learnings, and
Mhm.
it pertains to the facilities, HIPAA regulations, and it's other regulations that provide like fire and what to do in a disaster. It's just I think of it as just our usual stuff, but I like to be reminded every year, especially as I'm getting older. But
Yes, well, hopefully we're all getting older because the alternative.
But no, the refresher, we groan about it. I will be honest, we do. It's like, oh man, it's that time again. But then usually I pick up something different or something that I hadn't noticed before.
Mhm.
Uh, or, oh, okay, I need to do this now too, you know. So, I mean, it's up to everybody to do it. And yes, we are our um raises are based on it. Um, but personally, I'd like to see more of people, just more of confidentiality, I think. It's not that we sit around and talk about patients or anything like that. Actually, we all work from home. So we have chat conversations, but um, every once in a while we have to get reminded, don't send patient information, don't. And actually we don't, we're not supposed to allow other facilities or other third-party vendors use like share our screens
Mhm.
and allow the outside vendors to see the software that we do use. So we have to be we have to be stringent about that. Um, I guess people would if they were trying to develop their own systems. And they're helping us by providing services, but um, we can't share what our contracted vendor has available, which is good. You know,
Yeah. Yeah, well, and that is ethical because if you already have an agreement with someone, you don't want to share their secrets with somebody else. And a lot of what you do, Carol, is managing data first and foremost. But as you've pointed out so well, it's really personal data. And so we need to be concerned about that because every person's record is full of fields that are full of data, and treating that with that respect and responsibility and keeping it private and keeping it safe, which I love that you said that right off the bat. We have to keep the data safe. That's something that in the nonprofit world, specifically associations, they have members. And so they have member databases. And so it's a very similar situation in that we have to keep our member data safe. We have to keep our member data private. We also need to keep it clean, meaning it's up to date. There's no empty fields. If we can get that information, and in the association world, we need to follow privacy laws from other countries if we're international
oh wow.
organizations. Yeah. So it's like GDPR, which is a privacy regulation for Europe. So we have to make sure we're compliant with that. So we really have a lot of things similar to what you do managing patient information. So I'm wondering if you have any tips or advice for associations and all nonprofits really, because maybe a nonprofit organization's a C3 and they have a donor list and they have to keep that donor list up to date and clean and safe and private. So, what are some tips or advice you may have for the nonprofit world that you've learned over the years from all your experience?
Okay. Well, first of all, I have worked my whole career in nonprofit medical uh situations.
Mhm.
So, first of all, don't do like I do occasionally. Don't leave stuff laying around on your desk. At least have a place for it to store in your desk or shred it, shred the information. Um, uh, I guess I would recommend also like security level. Just because I'm in IT and we have access to a lot of stuff, there are things that my particular position can't do. And that's for safety reasons. It's for um, auditing reasons. We say when we're building something, um, so the person who builds it can't test it because we don't want any partialization or it just needs to be tested by another set of eyes to see if there's anything wrong, maybe something the builder forgot, why did the builder put this in here? So it's I hate to use scrutinize, but it is basically to scrutinize the information, make sure that what is supposed to be done is done.
Mhm.
So,
That's really, yeah, that's good advice. And I think it's totally transferable. And yes, of course, we have known each other for many years. I did know you're working in a nonprofit healthcare system. So,
oh,
but it's a little bit different because a lot of what you deal with is the patient records,
right.
and then over here we're dealing with member records or donor records or sponsor records, things like that. So I do want to make sure. Yes, we've known each other since I was 5, so I do pay attention when we talk. But I think that's really good. So, what are some things that you worry about when it comes to protecting data safety or protecting data safety? Not that, okay, not that. But what do you worry about when it comes to keeping the data safe, I should say, because keeping it safe is protecting it.
Um, I do sometimes someone will say, "Oh, I sent some information out about, so and so and such and such," and it's like, "Did you get a
Does password protect it?
thank you?" Yes, password protected. Um, to anywhere outside the facility because we're that is a no-no.
Mhm.
Um,
Well, do you ever worry about getting hacked?
oh, well, yes, 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 we do. Um, and we do have a security team,
Mhm.
and they keep us very diligent on emails that we receive because they send phishing emails. We, whenever one of us gets it, everybody's going to get it. So, um, unfortunately, sometimes we do open it, but then it automatically comes up and it says, "You've been fished." So, and that's PFISH, not not fishing. So you've been fished, and and it's just to keep it front, forward in our minds. We need to be careful about the emails that we receive, the emails that we send, basically, um, and keeps us on our toes. I don't think it was really from mercy.
So that's a good point because I always liked it. So first of all, we're both from Missouri. We're born skeptics. So I'm the same way. I always look at what the actual email is Not like it says it's from Comcast, for example. I look and it says like Bob at Gmail, and I'm like, oh, gee, I don't think this is really Comcast. Or like I used to get those phishing emails from different banks, like, oh, the
Yeah.
Royal Bank of Scotland. I'm like, oh, well, that's interesting since I don't have an account there,
Yeah.
delete. I used to get those famous Ghana emails about, oh, I have asked you to help move gold for the Ghana government. And it's like the government of Ghana reached out to me personally to help you move gold. I'm so honored. Yeah, right. Those go into the trash. Although I got to tell you, I used to have fun with those once in a while. I'd get one of those kind of phishing emails like, "Hey, we want you to help our government move gold to an account in the U.S." And I'd write back and say, "I'd be happy to help you, but it'd be easier if you gave me your account number instead."
There you go.
Never heard back from them. Don't know why. I was willing to be helpful, but they're getting more and more sophisticated too
Yeah, they are.
as it goes on. Those are like the good old days of phishing emails. It can be a little harder sometimes. Like you said, you don't even want to open this email. It may not really be from work. You're nervous. I don't want to get that. I don't want to be the one who like let a virus in the door or something. And
Right.
ransomware is becoming increasingly sophisticated as well for websites. Brian Scott's a cybersecurity expert, and he's been on the podcast a couple times talking about those kind of issues. And it's become corporatized. So somebody hacking into medical systems data, they could probably make a lot of money off that, selling it or holding it ransom. But that's why you have to be so careful about those things. And it's good to hear that your organization does test people. Are they going to open this or not? I recently have a subcontractor,
Hmm.
Fern Carbonell, who've been working with for years, and Fern has her own Rogue Tulips email. And I got a phishing email where somebody was pretending to be Fern, and it
Oh,
had attachments. And I'm like, okay, well, first of all, I know this is not Fern because they had the name of the company wrong in the email.
oh,
And it was a forward claiming, oh, open this team members. Well, the team is basically me and Fern. And I have also a marketing subcontractor I work with. But I just took a screenshot. I didn't even want to forward the email to Fern because who knows what was in those attachments. And took a screenshot, deleted it, then sent the screenshot to Fern and said, hey, just want you to know your email got hacked. And she blew up the screenshot and saw that was not even really her Rogue Tulips email. So just being really careful about things like that, don't open those attachments. Don't forward things to people either. I delete them and then I send them a message and say, hey, I think somebody hacked your email or they're spoofing you, because that's really more of a spoofing thing. And I think the spoofs are the ones where, people really get you because it's a spoof. I had a really sophisticated one a few years ago where Avis, quote unquote, the rental car company, was sending me an email about my car rental, and click on the link. And I looked at it and I looked at it again. I was like, well, this is strange because I rented this car 2 weeks ago. And they had the date like way in the past. And I was like, okay, no, this is not really Avis. And it was very sophisticated. They actually made a mirror image of the Avis website.
I
And so,
heard that.
yeah, I contacted Avis. I'm like, hey, Avis, this is going on. You need to check this out. And they appreciated it. But, imagine if that happened in your healthcare system.
Yeah, I have no idea. I mean, there have been facilities in the area, not with the company that I'm with, um, that have had the hacking.
Mhm.
And they basically hold the patient's information and, or well, all information, hostage because they want payment. And it does. I mean, it, that's I know if it happened to me personally, everything that a person has to go through, um, on their credit and everything, just to make sure that you're safe. Imagine taking care of thousands, maybe a million patients worth of information. So yeah, we do. We take it seriously.
So, do you have any backup systems? Because one of the recommendations from cybersecurity experts is to make sure everything's always backed up. Because, first of all, there's no guarantee that somebody hacking, or I shouldn't say hacking, but like doing ransomware on your website is going to release your website, even if you pay them. Also, it's against federal law to pay ransom. So, we don't want to do that.
Right.
So the recommendation is let's make a backup of everything. So if this does happen to us, we get hacked or we get a virus or somebody shuts us down with ransomware, we can just rebuild everything with the data. So what sort of recommendations do you have about that, about backing up the data somewhere else?
Um, for us, we have at least, there may be more, I'm not exactly sure, um, two different places where we keep the servers themselves. Um, one of them, the one side is a backup of the other side. Once a year, we do go through what we call a disaster recovery, where we flip from the existing servers over to the recovery servers, just to make sure that it works, that that we don't lose any information, um, and to make sure everything is safe. But I'm sure we've got more uh, data banks out there somewhere that I don't know about. But yes, we do. We have backup and we have disaster recovery.
And I think, what do you think are important elements of disaster recovery? Now, I know that maybe you're not running the disaster recovery, but they probably talk to you about it a little bit. So, what do you think is the most important steps for disaster recovery?
Um, well, basically for disaster recovery, I think um, it's a really good question.
So maybe, okay, I think that's above both our pay grades. So we'll move on to a different question. Because
Just a little bit. I mean,
yeah. Well,
I
and I think though, Carol, that probably we all are reminded or asked to make sure the data we're working with is backed up, whatever those backup systems are, on a daily basis.
right.
Because I worked at an association one time where our database was offsite at an external company, and we had a integrated monitor that we could like go in and do of all of our membership updates and things like that.
Hmm.
Well, the company building got hit by lightning and we lost over a month's worth of data entry. And
Oh,
we had to go back and re-enter everything.
dang.
And that's when one of the senior staff decided, hey, I think it's time to bring this database in-house. And so we did. And fortunately, though, and I don't think people do this so much anymore, in that era, we still had paper backup of everything. So when we lost that month's worth of data, we had paper backup and we could go re-enter it. And then when we decided to bring it in-house, we had, I think, around 8,000 members at the time. And so we used it as an opportunity to clean the data as well. So not only are we bringing it in house, we're going to clean the data. So we sent a letter through the mail on paper to every member and said, hey, we're doing this data cleanup, just check your form and make sure everything's accurate. And about, oh, actually, I'm sorry, we had like 10,000 members, I think, and like 8,000 of them replied. And we
Wow,
were getting, yeah, it was amazing. We were getting bags of mail, those big gray mail bags, every day for like a week. And the young woman on staff who was responsible for it just like burst into tears because
oh,
she's like, that's too many. Like she was getting like carpal tunnel just from opening the envelopes.
oh my goodness.
And she was like getting really stressed out about it. And so a couple of us saw her looking so upset. And we're like, what's wrong? And she said, I just can't open all these envelopes. It's too many. So we're like, let's grab our letter openers. And so we all just like sat there and opened envelopes together. And that's teamwork and data management. But that's the thing. It's like now a lot of what we do, there's no hard copy backup
Hmm.
because of that. That's why these backups and recovery systems are crucial. Like myself for
Absolutely.
my company, I use Carbonite. No, this is not a paid ad. It's just what I use. I have Carbonite and it backs everything up all day long. So I have it constantly backing up so that and important things, I do have paper copy of important things, not everything. Like,
Right.
I don't print out every email, just the important ones. Um, so we have to have those systems for ourselves as well. We got to think about, well, what is it we have? I've talked to friends who over the years have worked at associations where they did get ransomware, and they had to try to get it back, and a lot of times now it's not successful, and it's not because you can't get it back, it's just because it's become corporatized. And so the hacker who's just done ransomware on your website and has made their demand moves on like three, four, five other organizations that they're doing. They just forget that they did it, and even if you send them the money, they just don't release it, or sometimes they just delete it because it's like, well, I don't need it anymore, and so you can't get it
Oh,
back. And that's why with the ethical considerations of data management and technology implementation, that we have that responsibility, not only to keep the data safe but to make sure the data doesn't get lost.
absolutely. A- and I don't quote me on this, but my understanding is that patients' records are at least are to be maintained for at least 7 years.
Mhm.
And then I found out that children, when they're born, because they're not considered adult until they're 18, their information needs to be um, kept for 18 years.
Oh, I see. Oh, that's an I've never heard that about individual
Yeah.
records.
We had something come up, like a lawsuit or something, and basically it pertained to a child, and they were requesting the medical records
Mhm.
from the date of birth. So we have to make sure that we have, if the child's in 15, 16, that we can go back. If they were at one of our facilities and born at one of our facilities, that we can go back and gather that information.
That's a great guideline. And again, I've never heard of that. I That makes sense. I've heard the 7 year rule.
Yeah.
So first of all, you said don't quote me on this. Well, it's going to be on YouTube, so it's like kind of going to be heard.
Oh,
So,
okay.
and like I always like to joke around about jobs of the future. In the future, there will be what I call digital archaeologists, and they're going to go back through all these computer caches. So, 500 years from now, somebody's going to quote you on this. So,
Oh dear.
but seriously, you're right, though. All kidding aside, you're absolutely right about the 7 year rule. That is pretty much the document retention guideline that organizations follow. Some organizations keep their financial information for 10 years.
Yeah.
Uh, and that's a good practice because the IRS can actually go back 10 years
Hmm.
if they want to, not just 7. So it's good for financial stuff. Make sure you keep your financial records for a longer period of time. I know I personally have just kept all of mine just in case. You never know. But those are some really good observations, Carol. And before we wrap up the episode, I do want to ask you, though, what do you think are the most important ethical considerations for the kind of work you do? You are a very modest person, but you actually have a very high level position, and you do a lot. You do a lot of training, you do a lot of the implementations of the new pieces of your technology infrastructure. You help people all day long. A lot of times when we're talking, you're telling me, oh, yeah, well, I was helping somebody with this question or that question. So, what do you think are some of the ethical let me rephrase that. What do you think are the most important ethical considerations when you're at the crossroads of service and technology?
To keep everything secret. No, it just you have to foresee where this information could possibly end up.
Mhm,
Um, and that's what I try to do, is okay, I'm helping you. You need to take this forward, but when you do, we need to make sure that it stays safe, especially patient information. So, make sure that your screens are blocked or don't leave them open on a patient's information. Lock it. Um, don't leave it lying around. Just, just take it upon yourself, um, and put yourself in a patient's position, that you don't want that information out and about.
mhm.
So just be watchful and uh, actually guard the information like it was yours.
Oh, I think that's excellent advice.
Yeah.
I like that. So, well, Carol, I know this is your first time as a guest on Radio Free 501c, and I also know it's your first time on any podcast. So I want to thank you for joining me this week. And I like to ask my guests, what's the one thought you would like the audience to take away today about ethics and technology implementation?
It's extremely important. I wish we had more of it in the world, basically. Especially with the state our government is in. I wish there was just more um, people watching out what they say, people watching out what they do. Um, and it's just it carries it, I carry it through my life. So
Yes, well said. And we have known each other most of our lives, and you have always tried to do that. At least once we grew up. When we were little kids, we are like everybody else, getting into trouble, doing the wrong thing, saying snarky things about people. But I have seen you grow into that person. So I want to say that uh,
thank
you
you.
you have always done that. You've always tried very hard to do the right thing and set that example for other people. So thank you for doing that, Carol.
Oh, my pleasure.
Well, and
Thank you for
we
having-
have, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And if you want to come back, please let me know because it'd be great to have you back.
Okay. Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Well, we have to go rogue for now, but we'll be back next week with another exciting episode. So, another reminder, if you haven't followed us or subscribed yet on your favorite service, please do because you don't want to miss these conversations. We are well past episode 300 and we still have a lot to talk about. So, make sure you add us to your favorite podcast list. If you would like to find our past library and find this episode featuring Carol, you can go to our website, roadtulips.com, go to our podcast page, and you can find this episode, share it with your friends and colleagues. And you can also see our past episodes in our library. And I'm sure there's something in there that will catch your attention. If you are getting CAE education or you would like to get ethics education, please check out our education page on the website. We are currently offering our CAE Redux course, and that is going to be open for registration until April 8th. It's a 6-week intensive, so jump in now if you're getting ready for the May exam. Also, check out the ethics schedule. We offer it 10 times a year. We also have our adaptive leadership course within our Lead Forward Initiative program. So check that out as well. We probably have something that will get your mind going. And if you're not sure what course to take, feel free to contact me and we can schedule a call. If you'd like to see what kind of consulting work we do at Rogue Tulips Consulting, please check out our services page and let's have a conversation. So that's it for this week, everyone. Thanks for joining us. And on behalf of Carol and myself, we'll see you next time.
Bye.
That's it for this week. I hope you really loved this episode as much as I did. Thanks for listening. Learn more about how our experience and knowledge at Rogue Tulips can give your organization the strategic edge to reach its goals. Check out our website at roguetulips.com. We'd love to talk with you and see how we can work together.